Welcome to your Day 1 Orientation Explainer. I am so pumped you're here with us. Today, we're completely breaking down a brand new curriculum designed to take you from stuck in that traditional study rut all the way to real-world English fluency. You know the feeling, right? Years of classes, but you still freeze up when a native speaker just says hello? Yeah, you're in exactly the right place.
Let's just take a really quick look at our agenda for today to see how we're going to move you from frustration to fluency. We'll cover escaping rigid textbook English, our natural teaching philosophy, mastering vocabulary and grammar, sentence structure and transcription, and finally, your real-world results.
All right, Section 1, Escaping Rigid Textbook English. We really need to start by calling out the elephant in the room, the traditional classroom method.
There is just a massive difference between what you're taught in school and what you actually need out there. On one side, you have textbook English. It's super formal, incredibly rigid, and honestly, native speakers hardly ever use it in real life. Then, on the flip side, we have real-world English. This is the practical, natural stuff you actually hear on the street, at the office, or grabbing a coffee every single day.
Seriously, aren't you tired of those old textbooks? Most English lessons feel totally trapped in a classroom. You spend hours, literally hours, cramming these complex, outdated rules into your head. But then, you step outside, a real conversation happens, and poof, the words just vanish. You get that awful brain freeze. Well, that's exactly why this curriculum is here. It's the bridge to get you over that frustrating gap between what the textbook says and the dynamic English you actually need to survive and thrive out in the wild.
So, moving right along to Section 2, our natural teaching philosophy. To cross that bridge we just talked about, we need a major mindset shift. This whole curriculum, it's got a real origin story and a beating heart behind it. I've seen way too many learners hit the exact same wall. You study so hard for years, but when it's time to actually speak, you have zero confidence. So this entire program is built on one unshakable belief. English needs to feel natural, not forced. We're here to get you communicating out in the real world, not just bubbling in a multiple-choice answer on some standardized test. And that brings us to our absolute golden rule. Language is not about perfection. It's about connection. Your actual goal here is just to connect with another human being, to share an idea, and to be understood. It is not about sounding like a flawless robot. Actually, let me say that again. If you are making a connection, you are completely succeeding.
Okay, so how do we actually pull this off naturally? We use 3 core pillars. First up, video-first learning. You watch, you listen, and you repeat. Exactly how humans naturally pick up language. Second, context over rules. We're going to figure out grammar through real everyday examples. No more abstract, headache-inducing formulas. And third, speak from day one. Every single lesson pushes you to open your mouth and just start talking immediately. No more waiting around until you magically feel ready.
All right, mindset check complete. Let's dive into Section 3, Mastering Vocabulary and Grammar. These are the first 2 main features of your new curriculum.
Feature number 1 is our vocabulary boost. Look, instead of forcing you to memorize these incredibly boring, endless alphabetical lists or teaching you how to ask where is the library for the millionth time, we give you practical phrases you can literally use today. We sort this into 2 super useful buckets. You've got everyday conversations, so think greetings, small talk, cafe chatter, and then work in professional environments, giving you exactly what you need to fire off a polished email, run a meeting, or crush a presentation.
But before we get to the next feature, we gotta stop and ask a question that's basically a giant mental roadblock for everyone. Why does grammar feel so incredibly scary? Honestly, why? We have all been there, just sweating over a workbook, trying to figure out the past perfect continuous, maybe having a mild panic attack.
Well, I'm here to tell you grammar does not have to be scary, and that is exactly what Feature 2 is for. Grammar Unlocked. We completely wipe out that fear by taking those confusing rules and shrinking them down into bite-sized, totally digestible, real-world examples. We take the big 3 head-on. Tense confusion? Solved, with crystal-clear examples. That annoying prepositions puzzle with in, on, and at? Cracked. And the ultimate articles mystery, when to use a, an, or the? Finally explained in plain English. You're actually going to understand why English works, instead of just blindly memorizing it.
Moving right along to Section 4, Sentence Structure and Transcription. Now that we have your vocabulary and grammar base locked down, let's look at how we actually put the puzzle pieces together.
Which brings us to Feature 3, Sentence Structure Secrets. Because look, knowing a bunch of individual words just isn't enough. You have to know the structural patterns to connect them. The whole goal here is to train you to build clear, confident sentences that actually sound like a fluent speaker, not some stiff textbook robot. Every single sentence has a pattern, so we train you on this super easy 3-step process. Step 1, choose your subject. Step 2, add your verb. Step 3, complete your thought. It sounds simple, right? But once you truly internalize this underlying structure, you're going to realize you can express almost any complex idea with absolute clarity. It's a total game changer.
Now, to really cement that natural flow into your brain, we use feature 4, transcription training. I'm telling you, this is arguably the most powerful tool in the entire curriculum. It's this intense, active listening exercise where you literally type out exactly what you hear. It hits 3 massive targets for you. Active listening helps you catch every tiny word and rhythm. Accuracy practice naturally fixes your spelling and punctuation. And repeat and retain completely locks in your new vocabulary because you're so deeply engaged with it.
All right, as we start wrapping up this orientation explainer, let's jump to Section 5, your real-world results. Let's talk about the tangible payoff you're going to get for your hard work.
Then number 4, by showing up and doing the work, you aren't just memorizing random phrases, you are going to master 4 foundational core skills that we weave into literally everything we do: vocabulary, grammar, sentence structure, and transcription. The number 100%. Every single thing you absorb in this curriculum has a 100% practical focus. We meticulously designed every lesson for your life outside the classroom. No more studying just to pass a test. When you bring all these elements together, it's just a truly transformative experience. And honestly, the best part? It's right there for you, 24/7. You get to learn at your own pace, anytime, anywhere. Staying consistent with this is going to totally rewire how you use English and, more importantly, how confident you feel when you open your mouth to speak it. So, are you ready to elevate your English? Your journey from rigid textbook learning to speaking naturally in the real world starts right now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and do not miss a lesson. Every explainer we make is expertly crafted to get you speaking, writing, and thinking in English without even breaking a sweat. Now, before we go, I've got your very first assignment for today's orientation. I want to know, what is the single biggest English skill you want to improve the most? Are you trying to speed up your listening? Do you want grammar confidence? Need professional vocabulary for work? Think about it, define that goal, and drop it in the comments below to make it real. Let's get to work. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I absolutely cannot wait to see your progress in the next lesson.